watching Fox Sports, home to the Daytona 500, the World Series, the BCS, the NFC Championship, and FoxSports.com. We are Fox Sports!
The traditional start of the racing year comes each January on Florida's Eastern Shore at Daytona International Speedway. It's an annual midwinter classic, the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Over the past half-century, this contest of speed and endurance has been won both at high speeds and at walking pace. The margin of overall victory has been minute and massive. The mechanical roll of honor includes the most famous marques in history, including Ferrari, Ford, BMW, Porsche, and Corvette. The great race has also featured many of the sport's biggest driving stars. Names such as Gurney, Andretti, Foyt, Bell, Donahue, and Redman. This year, once again, the newest generation of headliners from stock cars, open wheel, and sports cars has made the pilgrimage to Daytona. '09 also offers a new chapter in American road racing as the Grand American Rolex Sports Car Series welcomes new ownership and a new look. But one thing that has not changed is the challenge of the series' signature event, unfolding on this world-famous track that combines the soaring high banks of the superspeedway with the tricky corners of the infield road course. And while the track itself may be a car breaker, there are also the challenges of weather, traffic, and the unforgiving clock. The idea is simple. You have 24 hours. Go as far as you can, as fast as you dare. Some races are made by the racing legends who compete in them. Welcome to a race that makes legends of those who can win it. Welcome to the 47th running of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. The football season is nearly over. Baseball's pitchers and catchers have yet to report, but the international racing season is now officially underway. Welcome live to Daytona International Speedway as we present the 47th Rolex 24 at Daytona.
This time a year ago, David Donahue was sitting way back in the pack. The view looks very different for the American driver on the right-hand side of your screen. He's starting from pole for the 47th Rolex 24 at Daytona. The green flies.
He gets a great jump there, David, and you got Timo Bernardi tucked in nicely. Zonta in that green machine, currently third. Pruitt, he goes around the outside there. The Ganassi car's looking strong once again.
So important not to try and win this race on the first corner.
The Ganassi squad do not put a high emphasis on qualifying, and a good clean start for our GT field. They're separated for safety reasons, and Sylvain Tremblay, the pole sitter, maintains his top spot over Andy Lally. Daytona prototypes on the right-hand side of your screen, GT top left.
Two good clean starts. We saw Max Angelelli in the SunTrust machine there, locking up a little bit. Right now, these drivers are just trying to generate some tire temperature, trying to get those air pressures up so these cars perform like they used to, David.
Absolutely. They do start these cars easy at much lower pressures than we're used to. And, of course, you've got to get pressure in the tires, especially here as you come up to the banking for the first time. Just about to go up there now. Lurching up onto the banking there. G-force is now pushing down to the car like you alluded to earlier. Very tough on components, this racetrack. Timo Bernard getting a nice draft there as they come down to that bus stop for the first time.
How about the legendary names up front? Brumos, Penske, Ganassi, 1, 2, and 3. If you want to pick the difference between the Ganassi cars, it's Scott Dixon in third with the red face car, the Target logo, and Pruitt is further back with the blue-nosed car.
Well, Dixon got a tremendous start there, got around his teammate, of course, in the 02 car. That car won here 3 years ago. The last 2 years, it's been the 01 machine, but 3 years in a row for Ganassi. But right now, two Porsches up front. They've got a new engine this year. It's bigger displacement, 4 liters. The other teams are talking about it. They had the cars on the front row, of course.
End of the opening lap, and David Donahue, nice and composed, enjoying time up front. and Timo Bernard paired with Romain Dumas and IndyCar star Ryan Briscoe. What a trio of stars in that car. There's Zonta, there's Pruitt. Max Angelelli is next. 95 winner Christophe Bouchou. There's Alex Gurney going through. The McDonald's car of Mamo Gidley. And the 6th of Michael Valiente with some fluid coming out of the rear of the car.
There was, you could see it there as he accelerating it. This is a car that qualified very well, but they were thrown out to a technical infraction. The bodywork was too wide, so they're in recovery mode from the back of the pack. But that's more of an issue, David. You don't want any kind of issue like that early in this 24-hour race.
Fluid and smoke coming out there on power as he came out of that turn 1 up to that turn 2 kink. So, boy, this is not a good time to have, as we said, the key to this race is to stay out of the pits.
Mike Shank Racing are on a roll. They won the last 2 races of the 2008 season. They're going for 3 straight, but this is an awfully tough one to win to make it 3 in a row, that's for sure.
Tucked in behind this blue number 6 of Michael Valiente is one of these stories of the race. 19-year-old Ricky Taylor, who's paired with his 17-year-old brother. We've got a new race leader. Timo Bernard for Penske Racing in the Crown Royal machine leads this race on the 2nd lap.
Well, he looked so strong there coming off the infield on the previous lap, but was patient on that opening lap, not pushing the issue too hard. But right now, he's out front. And there's a big question mark about this new Porsche motor. What sort of fuel mileage will it get? During the test, the teams are reporting it looks good.
Let's take a look high above at the pass for the lead. Timo Bernard on the inside, coming up onto the banking, and just puts himself into a superior position on David Donahue.
Boy, he came tight there too. He thought it looked like he tightened the corner up a little bit, but it pulled it off all right, and he gave him some good oomph up onto the banking there. Slips in front of David, giving David a bit of a tow there.
Well, these new Pirelli tyres, they had Pirellis on board last year. They're now manufactured in Turkey, so it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but all of the teams are very happy and got excellent traction there. That's a little bit bumpy there when you actually put the power down to try and get back up onto the banking, so that's an indication of how the suspension is working on that Penske machine.
As is the case in NASCAR and IndyCar, all cars in the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series run on the same tyre. It is Pirelli is the manufacturer. GT we're talking. Sylvain Tremblay is under pressure from Andy Lally, a multi-time Series GT champion in that green and black Porsche. TRG finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th last year. They were not happy with that. They would love to lock out the podium in 2009.
Well, Andy was so pumped after qualifying that not just that he was on the front row, but he was the leading Porsche runner in the field, because the Porsches are stacked this year. They really have the strength in numbers. Last year they struggled to adjust to this new tire, but boy, they've had some adjustments over the off season and they've come out of the box really strong. A lot of the guys running the 09 chassis has a little bit more downforce on the front end. There you see lockup. You don't want to be doing that, David.
Sylvain locking up there, putting the flat spot on that tire. He goes wide, runs in wide there, gives Andy Lally a chance to pull up alongside. Can't quite capitalize on it.
What happens there when you get under braking, you unweight the right side of the car. It goes kind of light on you. That's why it's so easy to lock up a tire. You can see Sylvain trying to threshold brake there, release the brake pedal and get that tire rolling so he doesn't get that flat spot.
Just checked in with Bill Riley, who's calling the shots on the 70 right now. I asked him, how hard do you run early on? Because we saw Andy Lally really applying the pressure. He said, as hard as we can without doing something stupid. We're not going to lay back on this one at all.
Bill Riley is thoroughly enjoying calling the shots on the pit stand for this car that he built along with Speed Source. He does not have a race team here this weekend. He is here in the capacity of a manufacturer, and there's a little less pressure on him. He's having fun with the Speed Source boys, who currently run 1 and 3 in GT. This, however, is your overall leader. Penske Racing's Timo Bernard. There's Bill Riley calling the shots for the GT race leader at the moment. This is the Rolex 24 at Daytona. You're watching Grand Am on Fox.